Okay, Prabhus, we will get started. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, on behalf of ISKCON Scarborough, we'd like to welcome each one of you to this 46th month of multimedia presentation of Srimad Bhagavatam class. For those of you who have not been to these sessions, we welcome you whether you are joining us through Zoom or you're here. We'll get more devotees join us because of the inclement weather. Some of them are on their way. So again, Prabhu, that's okay, Prabhu. We do not have too many people. We don't have enough space here. That should be. So we kindly request you to just participate in this deep dive session that we are going through today. I think there are books as well. I'm not sure Amanda will join us online, whether he's going to come here or not. Not sure where the books are, but if you're able to look for the books and share it, we can get started. So today we are going to collectively read and understand the Brahmanas Wives Blessed. That's the title of this chapter. This is in the 23rd chapter from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and it's also called as Vijay Mandi Leela. So before we get into the actual pastime, this is very nice statement by Srila Prabhupada, and I thought we will get things started off with this. So maybe Mother Srimati, you can read this.
Faith can be changed by Krishna said, I can give you protection for all the resulting actions of the Bhagavad Gita. That is faith. When you surrender to Krishna, he takes charge of clearing up all your activities and your reactions. Surrender to Krishna, then your faith is Delhi, November 28th, 1975.
So this is very important. Yes. Yeah. So this is very important. We always have this question, oh, is that because of my karma? I have to go through it, so nothing can change what I have to go through. But here it clearly says that faith can be changed if we surrender to Krishna. And we put this deliberately today because that's the intent of the pastime as well. So the devotion, how devotion can change everything. So we get into that very soon. So it's a pretty busy slide. Again, for those of you who joined us for the first time, just a reminder, so just relax and try to absorb the contents as we go through. And please stay 100% on course because this is very rare that we are doing sessions like this across the globe where we are diving deep into each one of those pastimes and trying to understand what are the lessons to be learned, etc. So we are collectively learning this, and also I always put, as you know, more than what we need in each slide. So if you're a fast learner, you can read it. If not, we'll just collectively read some of those verses. And this is not only from Srimad Bhagavatam with Srila Prabhupada's commentary, but also from various other acharyas, Vishnu Chakravarti, Jiva Goswami, Sridhar Swami, etc. And pretty much this is what we need to understand this faster, because we hear so many classes, we go through so many books and explanation by various acharyas as well. Put a presentation like this, it takes about 80 to 100 hours. So all you have to do is sit back and observe the contents. You can even take pictures as you feel fit, because certain things will be very difficult for you to find this because it took a while for us to figure things out. So feel free to take pictures as we go through. And also, you will have several cross references to many other pastimes as well as we go through this. That is for deeper understanding as we usually do. We will also have lessons to be learned in the very end, as well as quiz in the very end as well. So I'm not sure whether we are going to get. Are you online? Or maybe he's on his way. So hopefully we'll have the quiz hard copies by that time. Okay. And repetition causes retention. So we repeat few things as we go through this class as well. So we have deliberately selected the stories from Srimad Bhagavatam for a very good reason, because every day in our life there is story, right? Story about neighbors, story about relatives, there's always stories, right? And that registers in our brain, And that's why Srimad Bhagavatam is there full of stories, especially from the 10th canto. And it helps us connect to the personalities within the story. So it helps us bridge from the present to the past. So these past times connect us from present to the past, and we are connected with Lord Krishna as well. So we will again collectively read this, and we make sure that we understand what we are going through as well. And yes, we discussed that we have chronological summary at the very end for us to remember what we learned together. Okay? So it's very important that chanting of the holy name is always associated with hearing of Krishna Katha. Yes. Oh. Yes, it's always a challenge, doing both. So that's why I was hoping Amal Tagore Prabhu will be here. Okay. Can you log on and you'll be able to admit? I'll give you access. Okay. Oh, okay. So under what name will you log in? I see iPhone 12, iPhone 8. So I'll make you the co-host. So you'll be able to authorize devotees. I think everybody is who are waiting are in right now. So I'm just going to stop the video for everyone else if it's just so that we have it. Okay, Prabhu, we are okay. You'll be able to access, right? Yeah. So
will I be? Okay.
Yeah. So and you can mute yourself.
Okay.
So all the devotees can mute yourself. That will be great. If you have a question, you can unmute and ask. So it's very important for us to know that Harina should always be associated with Krishna Katha. Otherwise, it's dry chanting. If you don't know how long that's why the importance of the greatness of Krishna, so that we can chant the holy names now. So pastimes plus chanting is equal to Krishna consciousness. Is that okay? Everybody agrees? So we have to hear the pastimes. It just cannot be chanting alone, because then it will stop at some point. We will not have that rigor and the taste to chant unless we know the greatness of Krishna. So the first step is we request you to be attentive. We cannot understand, learn, or remember that we do not first attend to, right? So it's very important. Attention improves memory, and someone is great in anything, sports, a great sportsman or an artist is because they were paying attention. Right? So lack of attention will not take us anywhere. So somebody can shoot straight and somebody cannot write. So from the simplest to the highest start, it is lack of attention. So we will be using this multi-sensory perception, because you'll be using your eyes, you'll be using your ears, you'll be using your tongue to chant, you'll be using your sense of touch to take some notes. If you don't have some paper, I kindly request you to take, because it'll form an impression as you're taking. Unless you're good in your memory, that's fine. So the 5 R's for knowledge is R is relevance. Right? So you keep this, and that's why all of you are here. And second is recall code. We will use some acronyms. That is a recall code. R is repetition. So we will be repeating few things so that it stays in your mind. And then we will review, which is summary in the very end as well. And then we will reflect, which is the introspect, and then it's also quiz in the end. So if you're able to write it, you will remember it much better. So for those of you who joined in the Srimad Bhagavatam from 2015, we started this in 2015. These are all the topics that we covered on and on up to the 46th month, and the topic is the Brahmanas Wives Blessed. So we have covered over 3,450 verses, so which is almost 25% of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam has been covered. But in reality, over 68% of Srimad Bhagavatam pastimes are now. Okay, so there are the entire Srimad Bhagavatam does not have pastimes. There are many verses, there are many glorifications, etc. So as far as pastimes are concerned, maybe 68% of all the pastimes that are there in all the 12 cantos have been covered. So congratulations to all of you being part of this. So it's a deep dive session, as you know. This is the only way we can get purified because of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the flow of Srimad Bhagavatam, again, we'll go through some cases again and again to start of Srimad Bhagavatam class. So Lord Krishna imparted Srimad Bhagavatam to Lord Brahma through his 4 key verses in the second canto, 9th chapter, verses 33 to 36. And then from Lord Brahma to his son Narada, Narada to his disciple Vyasadeva, and from Vyasadeva to Sukadeva Goswami, and other sages, and Sutta Goswami to bring other sages in Naimisharanya forest. But most important is we get Srimad Bhagavatam because of the mercy of the divine A.C. Bhaktivedanta. So we kindly request the devotees to mute yourself, and then have a question. You can actually unmute, ask us. Can you mute yourself, please? Now, all good. Then I think I'll be muted as well. Okay, that's good. Okay, so we continue. These are the 12 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, as you can see, and we can see this long horizontal bar across canto 10. As we know, there are 90 chapters. Most of Krishna's pastimes are there. Incarnations of Lord Krishna are all in the other cantos as well, but most of Lord Krishna's pastimes are in them. So we have covered 20 pastimes, and today is the 20th pastime, and we have covered 7 pastimes from canto 9 as well. Okay, so we'll get started by chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 30 times as we usually do. And for those of you who are new, so this is a nice little summary at the bottom. It is called as Dvadasakshara Mantra. It contains 12 syllables, and Srimad Bhagavatam begins with this, as well as in the second canto, invocation mantra is the same mantra, and it's a Pola mantra for those of you who worship Shaligram Sridas. And thank you, Prabhu. And this was the mantra that was given by Narada Muni to Durga Maharaj almost 2 billion years ago, and this is also part of Narayana Kavcha. So very, 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 very powerful mantras. So we chant this mantra sincerely 3 times for us to get into this mood of being in the spiritual, realm before we get on to hear this Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we will get one of the devotees to chant this. The Sanskrit we have done this many times. Anybody would like to chant this? Please. Please. No, please. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you, Prabhu. Let's put our hands together. It's nearly 90 plus, and his health is failing, and then he wanted to attend today's session. Yes, and Prabhu didn't even bring his glasses and he's able to read it. So fantastic, Prabhu. Thank you. We are very inspired by your dedication to hear about Lord Krishna. Thank you. And one of the devotee, Sanskrit. Yes. So this person can chant before Srimad Bhagavatam classes, and that's what we did. And the simplest mantra, it's simple but the most powerful mantra that we all can chant before we get started. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Okay, so I'm tell Prabhu, are you okay to manage? I've provided taxes, so you can allow devotees to come in, and if they have any questions, you can bring it up as well. If they have any concerns, questions. Okay, so yes, recording. Yes, you can see that Prabhu recording is there. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, so because we are a little late in starting, we're going to rush through the English translation and not the Sanskrit. It's okay. Periodically, we'll get Prabhu to read that. So we'll get, only few of us are there. All our devotees, don't worry about making a mistake. We want all of you to kindly participate in this, right? So hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, because that's what we are gathered here for, to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So these are all the verses we handpick with, it's not easy to pick this. Every time it's different verses we pick. So these are inspiring verses to know why Srimad Bhagavatam is important. So just the English, Prabhu, anybody. I have always taken one very seriously. So that's the heading. Here in Srimad Bhagavatam ensures Lord Krishna manifests in your heart. He's already there, but we realize that the Lord is there in your heart just by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam sincerely. Few more very inspiring verses. Sanskrit is good if you want to transliteration. Yeah. Sure.
Oh my Lord, devotees can see your devotees can see through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become sight. And you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the divine, eternal form of transcendence in which they always do.
Wonderful. So this was the third canto. So hearing Srimad Bhagavatam purifies one's heart. Okay, so these are important verses. That's why we put it here. So please, for those of you who are not reading, just kindly meditate on the meaning of that particular verse, and that will purify our hearts. Hare Krishna. Okay, this is one of my favorite verses. Who's going to read this favorite verse? Yoga Prabhu. Of the just meditate. How beautiful it is. So the stream of your transcendental pastimes are flowing through like a river, right? However, the cap of my mind has entered in the ditch to drink the poison of material sense happiness. So kindly curb me with the stick of your mercy. Beautiful verse, right? It's a very beautiful meditative verse. So one more wonderful verse as well. Prabhu, whom someone didn't read, will try this. Prabhu. Just Srimad Bhagavatam is the Srimad Bhagavatam is the body of So in a way, Srimad Bhagavatam that we are going through today is not different from Lord Krishna. Okay, so this is for anybody who wants anything material as well. So it's not just spiritual, somebody goes back to God at the end of one's life, but also there is something for everyone. Okay? So the karmis who are greedy for material enjoyment and advancement in material life will attain everything they desire just by serving Srimad Bhagavatam in Kali Yuga. Chapter 5. Doesn't matter. It's not a very big chapter. The topics of Srimad Bhagavatam are able to give one wealth, children, wife, elephants, horses, fame, palatial residences, and a kingdom without rival. So it says anything material also you will get because of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, serving Srimad Bhagavatam, etc.
Robert, Daddy, I'm saying half of it. Robert.
Robot.
Yes. Let me show you.
So we kindly ask the devotees to mute yourself Okay? But so even if one has material desires,
Now it's now.
I'll unmute myself. Okay. I think now it's okay. Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you, Prabhu. We need two of the acharyas to take care of this. Thank you. Okay, so we'll move along very quickly. So this is what we're going to cover today. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 23. There are 52 verses, and the topic or the title of this particular chapter is the Brahmanas Wives are Blessed. So just to put the lay of the land here, this is India, and what Lord Krishna enacted is 125 years of earthly pastimes in Gokul and Vrindavan, in Mathura, and in Dwarakas. These are the three main areas. So he goes to Vishnu Loka and comes back towards the end of the 90th chapter or 80 something chapters. And he also goes once in a while to heaven and comes back, where he was giving back what Indra had lost, if you remember, after the Narakasura fasting. But basically, it was in Gokul, Vrindavan, Mathura, and Dwaraka. And it's all close to each other, right? Mathura, Gokul, Vrindavan, are all close to each other, 10 to 15 to 25 kilometers apart from each other. Everybody's aware of this, right? So Gokul is not far from Vrindavan, it's only 25 kilometers. And then Gokul, Mathura is 10 kilometers down to Mathura. So all in the vicinity. Dwaraka is a little far away in the west, and Mathura to Dwaraka is about 1,100 plus kilometers. So, and this pastime took place in Vrindavan when Lord Krishna was less than 7 years old. Okay, so again, just to put that in context, this particular pastime took place when Krishna was less than 7 years old, because 0 to 11 years. Yeah. So Srimad Bhagavatam 10 cantos, 90 chapters. It talks about in the very early beginning about his appearance in Mathura, his childhood pastimes in Gokul, Vrindavan. So he spent 11 years. The first 40 chapters of the 10th canto deals with that. Okay? These are good things that you can take a picture. Okay? You will not see that anywhere. This is like I think and put this together reading. Right? So these are very good to know. But if you want to know about Vrindavan Leela, they're the first 40 chapters. Right? So if you want to know the Mathura Leela, that is where he spent 18 years, from 11 years to 29 years, and there are 11 chapters approximately from 1041 to 1051. And Lord Krishna's pastime in Dwaraka when he was 29 years old to 125 years old. So 96 years he spent in Dwaraka. Most number of his years out of 125 years were in Dwaraka. And there are 39 chapters, and that's called Dwaraka. So this particular pastime took place there is a Braja Leela when Krishna was less than 11 years old, and based on the Govardhan Leela happening after this, which he was 7 years old at that time, so you can say it's less than 7. Everybody's okay? Okay. Okay, so I'm not going to read through this, and if you can see, if you're wondering why we're covering 10.22, Hare Krishna, why we're covering 10.22 when we're covering 10.23? The context is Krishna is explaining towards the end of chapter 22. Okay, mother? So more devotees are coming, so we're really happy because of the inclement weather. We understand that, and quite a few devotees have joined us online as well, which is really inspiring, which is good. So why we're going to chapter 22, which is the previous chapter to this chapter, right? We are covering chapter 23. Everybody's on the same page? Please, we just need your attention because we want to learn from all of you. Towards the end of chapter 22, Krishna glorifies the trees. He says, oh, the trees give so much wonderful, tasty fruits. They give shade. Krishna glorifies all these wonderful trees, right? Anything you ask from the tree, you will get. Beautiful leaves, flowers, fruits, shade, roots, bark, wood, fragrance, sap, ashes, pulp, shoots, everything is from the tree. So trees are wonderful. So Krishna is praising the trees. But right after that, the cowherd boys are saying, even after hearing everything about Krishna, about how the wonderful fruits are there, they're walking past those trees, all the tasty vegetarian fruits are there. But they say, Krishna, we are so hungry. So they're not hungry for fruits, they want rice. Their favorite is curd rice, right? So they want rice. So that's the context of this. So here they say, but soon as they became afflicted by hunger, they approached Krishna and spoke as follows. So the first verse of this 23rd chapter is this, right? So they start asking Krishna, "Oh Rama, Rama, mighty armed one, Krishna, chastiser of the wicked, we are harassed by hunger, and you should do something about it." Okay, so that's the beginning of this chapter. So they're so hungry that they address the elder brother Lord Rama, Balaram twice, and because he's mighty armed, right? So that's why they say he's mighty armed one, and they're addressing Krishna as the subduer of all bad things, who should now subdue their hunger. They're really hungry, right? All these little coward ones. So just now, as I mentioned, Krishna explained all the glories of the trees and how they provide abundant foods, but the coward boys don't want that, right? So they want rice. So what does Krishna do? So Krishna requests the cowherd boys to approach the Brahmanas for food, who were actually performing a wonderful sacrifice. It's called as Angirasa sacrifice. So this Angirasa sacrifice is done for somebody to be promoted to the spiritual, to the heaven, not spiritual, but very important. For somebody to be promoted to heavenly, more devotees are coming. So if you have some space for them, that will be great. So everybody follows. So Krishna is saying, "Oh, you're hungry? Please go nearby. There is a major sacrifice that is going on. The Brahmanas are performing Angirasa sacrifice. Go ask them food." That's what Krishna is saying. Krishna knows the result, but he's telling them. So Krishna wanted to show, I'm just jumping here, the glories of devotional service versus non-devotion to this pastime. Because when the cowherd boys are hungry for a easily manifested all the food he wants, right? Magically, Krishna could have made, so much of prasad available for the boys to eat, but he did not do that. He said, "Go nearby, they're performing a sacrifice, ask them for food." And he asked them to use the elder brother's name because Balaram is a Kshatriya compared to Lord Krishna, who's a Vaishya, right? So some Brahminical persons may say, yeah, Brahmins are higher, then it's Kshatriya, then it's Vaishya. So he said, use my brother's name first. So Krishna is taking that lower step. Yeah, it's an on here. Thank you for those of you who joined us. We really appreciate it. So hopefully you will gain quite a lot today collectively from everybody. There is pen and paper for you to take some notes. And those of you who have joined us online, again, we are thankful to join today's session. So how did Krishna know that there is an Angirasa sacrifice being performed? That's not surprising, right? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7.26. Anybody can read the words highlighted in yellow. Anybody who joined us today? Yeah. We'll keep some Sanskrit words for you.
Oh, yeah.
You can.
Yes.
Yellow one. Yeah.
I know everything that will happen. There is happening in the present, all things that are written.
Yes. So Krishna knows everything. So it's not surprising that Krishna knew that there is an Angirasa sacrifice that is going on here. So he said, go to the Brahmins. They're performing Angirasa sacrifice to go to heaven. He also knows what they are doing, why they are doing the sacrifice. Go and ask them for food. So, so the Brahmanas were performing this fire sacrifice not to please the Lord, but to go to heaven. So clearly they want to go to heaven. So they are performing the sacrifice. It is not to please the Lord that they are doing. That's the intent of this pastime, right? For all of us to know. So Krishna says, men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to higher planets, resultant good birth, power, and so forth. But desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. That's what the Brahmins did, right? Their intention is not to please the Lord, but for them to gain promotion to the heavenly kingdom. So Krishna also says in 2.46, anybody would like to read this English verse which you did read before? Anybody? The English, this part.
All purposes serve the small world and have come to serve the for our body. Similarly, all the purposes can serve to one who knows the purpose and to know how.
So which they didn't know. That's what the Brahmins did too. So Angir is a sacrifice. So again, this is something that you can take a picture. This is not directly there in Srimad Bhagavatam. I just put that together. So if you would like to take a picture for your reference later on. So Angirasa, you can say Angira. In some it says Angirasa, the son of Angira, but for all practical purpose, this is Angira's sacrifice. So he's the powerful son of Lord Brahma, and he appeared from Lord Brahma's mouth. Angira. Okay? 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 Sorry. And one more slide again. This is a lot of slides that I like to put together for my understanding. You don't need all this, but if you would like to take a picture in there. Angira was so powerful that he was offered the sister of Lord Kapila Dev in marriage. So he married Kapila Dev's sister, Shraddha. Okay? Everybody's okay? Just to show how important Angira was. And that's the sacrifice that these Brahmins were doing. So guaranteed they'll go to heaven. But that's not the intent of life, right? So you don't want to go to, if there is a penthouse, you want to go to penthouse, right? And you want to go to the highest floor, not to anything else, right? So go to the spiritual world. So a little bit more about Angira. He appeared from the mouth of Lord Brahma, as we know. He married Shraddha, sister of Lord Kapila. And he's the one who comes in sixth canto, Chitraketu's pastime, if you remember, right? He said, you'll get a son by the name of Harsha Shoka. He'll give you happiness and sadness. And then he was killed by the co-wives, if you remember from the sixth canto, right? And he could travel anywhere. That's the power of Angira. It's the Acharya of Atharva Veda as well. And Shamika Rishi is a descendant of Angira. Anybody remember Shamika Rishi? Shamika Rishi, anybody? Shamika Rishi, anybody? Srimad Bhagavatam, the origin of Srimad Bhagavatam, he was very instrumental. Shringi's father, he's the one that Maharaj Parikshit put the dead snake. He was meditating. So he's actually a descendant of Angira. I mean, I know there are many names, but it's good to remember them periodically. So Shamika Rishi is the father of Shringi, who cursed Maharaj Parikshit, and because of that, the whole Srimad Bhagavatam that we are reading today also manifested. So, as instructed by Lord Krishna, the cowherd boys approached the Brahmanas with utmost humility and requested the food, right? So they were very kind with utmost humility, right? When we are asking somebody something, we don't go in arrogance, right? We are very, very humble, and then we praise them and then ask for what you want, right? That's a lesson we learned here. So they were very humble. They put their palms together in supplication, fell flat on the ground, and then they called them earthly gods, even though they don't deserve, as you see. And then they said, we are executing the orders of Lord Krishna, and we're being sent by Balaram. We wish all good for you. Please acknowledge their arrival. So it's very odd they are saying, please acknowledge our arrival, because they totally ignored them right from the very beginning. Totally ignored them. They never even recognized that somebody had come and they're talking to them. They were just so arrogant based on the knowledge that they thought they had. So you can see here, they're very humble. They did not have an ego, the cowherd boys, because, you know, if you were friends of Lord Krishna and Balaram, will you not have a little bit of ego, right? You're the friend of the greatest personality, right? But here, these boys did not have any ego. They're falling flat at the feet of Lord Brahmanas. And it's expected courtesy to always glorify the person first before asking for a favor. Okay. So here, the cowherd boys, they're not going to get acknowledged, right? So they're asking, please acknowledge, right? Though Lord Krishna sent them to the Brahmanas, the cowherd boy mentioned they were only sent by Balaram, which is also right, right? Because he's the elder brother. And Krishna said, yeah, you can tell them that you were sent by us. Because if they're embarrassed, right? So if the boys go and ask, we want food, they may say, get out from here. But if they use, yeah, we were sent by Krishna and Balaram, there is a chance of them getting food, right? So here, and they are continuing to say, Krishna and Balaram are tending their cows not far from here. They are hungry. Please give some food, right? Krishna and Balaram were not hungry. They are the ones who went and said, the cowherd boy said they were hungry, but Krishna said, yeah, go to them and ask them, right? Now slowly they said, Krishna and Balaram are hungry because they thought no chance at all, right? Because they did not acknowledge their arrival at all. So they are saying, Krishna and Balaram want some food, so give it to us. Remember in Prabhu's from South India, no, when they put a banana leaf and they serve food, right? So they will, the guy with the potato sabji will be so far away. Hey, sir, please come. This person wants potato. Please come, please come. Yeah. So when that guy comes and puts the potato here, he says, yeah, for me too. Right? This is actually for him, but he will say, this is for him. Right? So here they say, this is for Krishna, please give the food. Right? So nothing wrong in saying that. So, and the cowherd boys could have said, because they know who Krishna is, who Lord Balaram is, they could have said, hey, Brahmanas, take food and go to Krishna. There, Krishna and Balaram are there in the pot. They didn't even say that. Give it to us, we will take it. So they were so humble. Right? So Brahmanas were not following the basic Vedic injunction. Anyone who's hungry is a fit candidate for receiving food in charity. So this is a lesson for all of us. So we don't think twice. Right? Anybody who's hungry, it could be a bird, it could be a dog, it could be a cat, human being. Anybody who's hungry is a fit candidate for receiving food in charity. So that was ignored. And Krishna is asking food on behalf of the boys. And Krishna says, as we know, Bhagavad Gita 9.26, translate please, anybody? Patram pushpam palam toyam yome patya prayachati. So he will accept it. Here he's asking. Here he's saying, if you offer it to me, I will accept it. Yogan Prabhu, if you offer, I will definitely accept it, he's saying, Krishna. But here he's saying, I want it. And then they were ignored. Right? So that's the crux of this passage. So the cowherd boys preemptively explained to the Brahmanas when food can be taken and not during the sacrifices. So the cowherd boys who are 7 years old, they know the do's and don'ts of all sacrifices. They are saying, except during the interval between initiation of the performer of the sacrifice and the actual sacrifice of the animal. So don't get too much into the sacrifice of the animal part of it, okay? Because in those days when sacrifice of animals were done, the animal used to get a younger body after they chant the mantra. So don't think, oh my God, it's like mode of ignorance or something like that. It's not possible in any other yuga after that. Definitely not in Kali Yuga. But the animal gets a younger body as well, right? So they're saying after the sacrifice of the animal, it is not contaminating for the initiated to partake food, at least in the sacrifices, other than Sautramani. There is another sacrifice called Sautra. So they're technical. These boys, 7-year-old boys are very technical. They are experts more than the Brahmanas when the food can be offered and eaten, etc. So generally during Vedic ceremony, the Brahmanas eat first before anyone else is eaten, right? That's the norm, right? So the Brahmin, the priest will be eating first. So in this case, it can be offered. So they anticipated the possible objection in not giving them the food, and they preemptively, that means step taken, anticipating an undesirable action. So initiation of the performer of the sacrifice means starting to fast from water, food, worldly pleasure. So for those of you who have done fire sacrifice, you don't fully eat and offer ghee, right? So you're supposed to fast. You're going to get into this mood of austerity for a long time, at least 3 hours before. Here, the previous day also, they don't eat actually before fire sacrifice. So Sautramani, I put some example here. I don't think so we need to get into this. Actually, it is said that the sacrifice is symbolic of actual animals. This is Sautramani, right? So there is no actual animal that is sacrificed, but symbolically they keep a goat and they keep a ewe. Ewe means it's a female sheep and a bull. Okay, so again, it's all symbolic. So that's the right of this Sautramani. So the boys know that. None of us may know this or want to know this, but the boys, cowherd boys, already know the do's and don'ts of fire sacrifice. Okay? The Brahmanas were full of petty desires and due to entanglement in the elaborate rituals and presuming to be advanced, okay, presuming to be advanced in Vedic learning, totally ignored the request from the cowherd boys. Sometimes when you ask somebody some money, somebody can say, hey, I'm going to give you some money, or I'm going to give you less money, or I'm not going to give you money. If you totally ignore that person like this, or don't even acknowledge that person, that's worse than saying no. Right? So that's what happened here. So the Brahmanas heard, but they did not hear. Right? So they did not say yes, no, wait, nothing. They just totally ignored them. And even here, you can see Sukdev Goswami is saying they were actually inexperienced fools, right? So that's what Sukdev Goswami is saying, inexperienced fools. Who is he saying? Not the cowherd boys, but the Brahmanas, right? Because he's saying that they thought they were advanced in knowledge, but actually they were only advanced in age. Not in knowledge, but only in age they were advanced. And petty desires, why it is petty? Because they want to go to heaven. But ultimate destination for devotees who want to go is the spiritual world, right? Where there is no point of return. And clearly we read from Bhagavad Gita, if you go to heaven, after you exhaust your karma, good karma, you will have to come back to this material world. So they did not understand the ultimate goal of life is to go to the spiritual world, not to the heavenly. Karma kanda, we heard this again and again. What is this karma kanda? So a division of Vedas which speaks with performing ceremonial acts, that is rituals or pious activities for personal gains. Okay, that's very important. To go to heaven, to get wealth, etc. So this can also be done deceptively during any form of devotional service. I'm going to repeat this again. So this can be also done deceptively during any form of devotional service. We perform Arati, I want my daughter's marriage, no dowry, whatever, right? So it's good to, we need to survive in this world, but the intention of performing devotional service is only to please the Lord, and as a byproduct, Krishna will take care of it. Krishna knows everything. We don't need to ask, give me this, give me that, right? So yeah. So deceptively, it can be done in the form of devotion. So it's very important that we perform things not for our personal gain. So rituals done to please the Lord becomes spiritual. Okay? Rituals done to please the Lord becomes spiritual. So you can do arati, you can do yajna, you can do anything, but to please the Lord, then it becomes spiritual. Ritual becomes spiritual. So ritual plus devotion is spiritual. So ritual means it's not just doing something very specific in spiritual activity, but even blowing candle during a birthday. That is a ritual. Does it got anything to do with the actual person getting 1 year older? Blowing the candle, right? You blow the candle. Is that anything to do with the birthday? It's a ritual. It's traditionally done, right? Yeah.
It's definitely but it's not it means we are doing without any motive of getting somebody.
Correct.
When we want something, it's deceptive.
Correct. Yeah, so that's why Krishna knows what we need, right? So Krishna knows past, present, and future. Does Krishna need to know that we need this extra money? Anybody can take part in this, right? So please comment on this. So does Krishna need to know what we need? Does Krishna know what we need? So you please Krishna. It's like when you're hungry, you eat the food, automatically your hunger goes away. right? You don't need to do two things, right? So when you eat, automatically your hunger goes away. When you please Krishna, then whatever you need, like you remember the Akshaya Patra, right? One last morsel of rice and one piece of vegetable, then everybody became satisfied. Durvasa and his disciples became satisfied. So the basic message here is when whatever rituals we are doing, we need to have the devotion, it becomes spiritual, otherwise it becomes karma kanda, whatever we are doing. Okay? Any spiritual activity that we may think, when we are just doing, in this case, so let's focus back to what these Brahmanas were doing. Their only intention was to go to heaven, not to please the Lord. Oh, you offered this, you do this, you go to heaven. Okay? I just got this morning. How do you like this one? Don't burn your opportunities for a temporary comfort. Okay? So here he's just feeling a little cold. He just took all the rungs of the ladder, like who knows whatever great things that are there. Right? So these Brahmanas were just focusing on going to heaven, which is very temporary, but they missed the golden opportunity to serve the Lord directly. Krishna is saying, please give me food. And they ignored it. They didn't even say no, which is much worse than saying no. So the Brahmanas with these desires, right? So what is the aim of life? So this is a fascinating verse from the 7th canto. Nate vidu swatagati vishnu duradayaya vairastamanaha andayakangi upaniyamana sattisa tantram urudami pataha. So can somebody read this? Okay, anybody? Little louder, bro. Thank you. So the connection between this verse and the passage that we are reading is, I think back to God. So the goal of life is to come home back to God. Right? So this is who's saying the 7th canto? Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj himself is teaching us this, right? So, but then the goal of the Brahmanas were to go to heaven, not to spiritual world, right? So the Brahmanas saw Lord Krishna as a very ordinary human being and failed to recognize that he is the supreme absolute truth and did not show any respect to Krishna. Also, everything connected with the sacrifice they were performing were connected to Krishna. How do we know that? Because this is actually in the pastime itself, right? The ingredients of sacrificial performance, the place, the time, the paraphernalia, the mantras, ritual, priests, fire, devatas, offering, everything are simply aspects of Lord Krishna's opulences. So the Brahmanas of Krishna as an ordinary human being, because of their perverted intelligence, it's not real intelligence, perverted intelligence, they fail to recognize that he's the supreme absolute truth, the direct supreme personality of Godhead. So they were bewildered by the false identification with the mortal body, so they did not show any respect. Yes, Prabhu. Yes. Okay. Good. So everybody follows the pastime so far. So it's beautiful pastime. It's very informative, instructive. So here, this is from 7th chapter Bhagavad Gita. So I'm going to request you to read this.
Delivered by the three modes, goodness, factor, and wisdom. The whole world does not know me and about them.
Inexhaustible. Well, wonderful. So nobody knows me. The whole world does not know me. I think the Brahmanas, they did not know who Lord Krishna is. Right? So it's a very appropriate verse. And also, this is from Padma Purana, right? Janma Kori Sukritin Nalavyate. So there is also a beautiful verse how Krishna consciousness, International Society for Krishna Consciousness name came. You know, this beautiful verse by Ramananda Roy, right? That also is the same verse. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati Kriyatamiti Kutopi Lavyate. Tatra Lavyamati Mulyam Epalam Janma Kori Sukritin Nalavyate. So here it is said, the title of Krishna consciousness, because when Prabhupada was thinking of the name, he was said, no, don't keep Krishna consciousness. Why don't you keep it as God consciousness, right? International Society for God Consciousness. He said, no, I'm going to keep it as Krishna consciousness. And it is said that he got this Krishna consciousness term from this particular verse. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati Kriyatamiti Kutopi Lavyate. So here it is again said, understanding of who the Supreme Lord is does not arise even to those who have performed meritorious acts for thousands of births. So pious activity need not be spiritual activity, right? So you keep on doing pious activities, but without devotion, then we will never know who Lord Krishna is. Okay? So this is the exact same verse repeated twice in the same chapter. Exact same verse repeated in anybody getting excited like how I was? I want you to, right? Srimad Bhagavatam usually does not have, except for about 5 or 6 verses that are repeated. One verse is repeated 4 times, and you're going to see that, and you're going to take a picture or make a note of it, right? These are verses that we have to memorize, right? So this is spectacular because in the same chapter, the verses are exactly repeated, verbatim, everything. Okay, this is one of those verses. I'll let you read this.
All the aspects of sacrifice, various items of the Vedic and the prescribed rituals, the feast and sacrifices are the demigods, the pattern of sacrifice, the sacrificial offering and fire, all of these of this offering.
So we already saw one verse that are similar to this, the previous one. Now, exact same verse repeated twice. Okay, please make a note of it. The same verse repeated twice, which is 10.2, 23.10, and then later on the same verse is repeated 10.23.48. So I put few more verses, and I'm not going to go through this. This is for you to make a note or take a photograph or picture for your reference, right? So this is not repeated, but here again it is said, you are the ex sacrifice, you are the ritual, great sacrifices. Everything goes to Lord Varahadev. So any sacrifice goes to Lord Varahadev. He's the one who takes all the offering in reality. Any fire sacrifice that you do. This is from 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. This is a very famous verse from Bhagavad Gita 4.24. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi Brahmarpanam Anahutam. So yes, the person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities in which the consummation is absolute and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. Whatever you're offering into the fire sacrifice is also spiritual. So it says both ways, right? The consummation, what is absorbed is absolute, and what is being offered is also of the same spiritual nature. So this is verse that is repeated 4 times in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, the first one on top, 3rd canto, 4th canto, 7th canto twice, right? And then you have one more verse here which is repeated twice, exact verbatim. Goddess Bhumi Devi is praying as well as Kunti Devi. Nama Pankaja Navaya, very famous verse, right? Nama Pankaja Marine, Nama Pankaja Nitraya, Namaste Pankajangrade. So these are very important verses. So why I'm putting it here is because, repetition in Srimad Bhagavatam is very rare. And when it's repeated, there is a reason. Especially same verse repeated 4 times. And I can give you 2 more verses that are close to that, and one that is very close to this, but then there is 1 word, 2 words different. But these are exact verbatim verses. Okay. So this is 1 more verse that is repeated twice as well. Tulayama lavanapi aswargam punarbhavam bhagavat sangi sankasya madhyanam kim utashaha. That's it. So there are no more verses that are repeated other than what you saw in the last 3 or 4 slides. Right? So these are very important verses about the association of devotees. Okay. Now let's get back here. So the Brahmanas knew the Lord is within Agni because they were offering sacrifices, right, to the fire. But they did not know who actual God is, and they did not know his actual form. They thought God means it's fire, like Zoroastrianism, right? So fire God is their God, but they did not know Krishna can manifest as Lord Krishna himself. He can manifest as Matsya Avatar, Kurma Avatar. He can manifest in many, many avatars. But from their standpoint, God means it's fire, right? Nothing else. This is like the Brahmanas knew the Lord is within Agni, but did not know who actual God is, nor did they know God's original form. You have heard the story, right? 6 blind men and the elephant. So it's an elephant, but everybody is touching one part of the elephant. One person is touching the leg and he's saying, oh, this is elephant means it's a tree. Okay? He's saying elephant means it's a tree because he's not looking at the bigger picture. Another person is touching the tail. Oh, elephant means it's just a rope. You see that? So another person is touching the trunk and he's saying it's a very big snake. Another person is touching this tusk and he's saying it's a spear. And another person is touching the ear, big ear, and he's saying, oh, elephant means it's just a fan, nothing else. Right? So they just know part of what it is, but not the complete picture. Okay? Hopefully, these are helping us connect to the past time, right? So they know partially what it is, but they don't know the full picture. So here, it's very, 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 very important, right? So this is important for all of us. So Krishna in the 11th canto is saying, because anything in red font is not part of the past time, but we need to understand the connection, right? So Krishna is saying, a twice born person should worship me, his worshipable Lord, without duplicity, offering appropriate paraphernalia and loving devotion to my number 1, Hare Krishna Prabhu. To my one is deity form. All of us are doing that, right? No problem. Second, to the form of me appearing upon the ground. What does that mean? Our Acharya is explaining upon the ground means the physical form of Lord Krishna. Second one is, the Rangoli. Everybody knows that is an authentic form of Lord Krishna. So Rangoli, or in South India we call Kolam, right? So that is Krishna when you put that for Krishna. In the fire, third is not in the fire, and those Brahmanas know that only, right? Then in the sun, number 4 is the sun, number 5 is the water, number 6 within the worshipper's own heart. Yes. Deity, the first one, deity. Number 1, deity. Yeah, so the deity form is Krishna. Rangoli is Krishna. Fire is Krishna. Sun is Krishna. Water is Krishna. That's what he's saying. So not just the form of one form. Yeah. Yes. So here I've also put 11, 27, 16, and 17. That is 11, 27, 9. Right? Here it's saying how you can offer worship to these 6 forms or places. Okay. So Krishna is giving a complete picture. So I just connected those 2, right? So he's saying number 1, right? So what deity, what is most important? Krishna is saying, bathing and decorating me are the most pleasing. Hare Krishna pujaris, all the pujaris. So Krishna is saying, in my deity form, I love being bathed and decorated. Okay, Abhishek and new clothes, okay? Very often new clothes, very often many offerings of Abhishek. Now, for the deity place on the ground, right? So that is Atma Vidyasa, that is coordination between asanas and pranayama and asanas, different asanas. Now, For fire, sesame and barley. All of you, many of you are initiated. What do you do when you're getting initiated? Barley, black sesame with mixed with ghee, right? So we are not just magically doing that. It's all from the scripture, right? And then number 4, upasthana. Upasthana is sitting near, so present, right? So and argya. That means what you do? You don't go near the fire. Sun. How do you worship sun? You don't go near the sun, but you even take one step towards the sun and you offer argya. What is argya? Water, and it can also be some, some few other things like flowers, everything added to water. But basically, how do you worship sun? You take one step forward, few steps forward towards the sun, offer water to sun. Again, that is coming from Krishna. Okay, and then number 5, water. How do you worship Krishna in the form of water? By offering water. How do you worship Ganga? By offering water of Ganga itself, you will offer to Ganga. And number 6 is meditation on the 4-arm form of Paramatma in one side. It's a complete picture. It's very important, right? You should all take a picture of this, or if you have memorized it, it's fine. 11.27.9 and 11.27.16, 17. Say these are 6 different places or objects of me. You can worship me in any of these forms. The Brahmanas, if they had known about this, then they would have recognized Krishna. Right? It's a bit late, but we are fortunate that we are knowing this because of the mercy of this divine grace. Okay, I put an. I'm not going to read this, but I'm going to give you a story. You have heard this story, very important. Not recognizing the right person. Okay, there was a pious priest in a city that was getting flooded. Okay, he was in the ground floor. Water was rising. A boat came. They said, please, priest, get onto the boat. You're going to die. The whole city is flooded. Come, we are going to save you. He said, no, I'm a very holy man. God has saved me in the past. He will save me. After that, the ground floor got fully flooded. Then he walked up to the second floor. Now they came in a speedboat. Sir, it's very dangerous. Please get onto the speedboat. You're going to die. No, God has protected me in the past. He will protect me again. Second floor got inundated with water. Last option, he went to the terrace. Helicopter came. They put the big thread, right? Rope. They put the rope. Sir, last and final chance for you to get saved. He refused again. Sorry. God has protected me before and he will protect me. Water went up. He died. The priest died. And then he went and met God. Let's say he went to heaven. My dear God, I was your devotee. I was hoping that you would come and save me, but you did. What did God say? I did come thrice to save you. You did not recognize me. Right? So 3 times he sent help, right? So if you don't recognize God as the Brahmanas did, then they are the losers. So this is just an example. But it's not just this pious priest who missed the boat, but also we may be doing that as well, and we'll see how. So we, the devotees of Lord Krishna, know from reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, etc., the Lord appears within fire, within the sun, within water, within the deity form, etc. And even it can appear as fish and tortoise, etc. So we can't make the mistake. Okay, we are more educated because of Srila Prabhupada's books and instructions, right? So Krishna says 5 times in Bhagavad Gita that he is fire. That's the reason why 5 sacrifices are being done, because it is non-different from Lord Krishna. And I put the references there. Right? I am king of the fire. I am fire. Again and again and again, Lord Krishna says he is fire. So that the Brahmanas knew very well. No problem. We knew that that God is fire. But they did not know anything outside of that. Right? Krishna says, Aham is sarva yajnana. I am the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. They are doing the 5 sacrifices, but they didn't know it is for whom. Right? And then Goptaram Yakyatapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Sugridam Sarva Bhutanam Tatva Mam Shanti Vichati. Louder. A lot of devotees are there online as well. So a person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and offerings. Right? He is the ultimate beneficiary. We know, and this happened 5,000 years ago, right? Did they not read Bhagavad Gita? Because Bhagavad Gita has been spoken about 18,000 times as of now, right? Because from the dawn of creation, Brahma is 50 plus years old. When you do the math, so Bhagavad Gita has been spoken every day in the day of Lord Brahma. So it's 18,000 times when you do the math. So this happened only 5,000 years ago. So it looks like they were under a cave or something, these Brahmanas, right? So they were thinking only, only Agni and not anything else. You know this? I want everybody to get excited. Why I put this? It's a real story. Okay? Real story. A person sitting in the business class of an international flight who used to hero worship a famous actor failed to recognize the actor who was sitting very next to him as he was visualizing the actor to be as he appeared in the movies. This can happen, right? Because it looks totally different, right? This is probably how he looks, right? And that's how he was. This person was from the North India, right? So maybe in South India, they put this picture more often in news, they may know. But for somebody in North India, when they know in that form, right? This person sitting, this guy sitting next to him, right? So anyway, the main message is Brahmanas did not recognize the Lord, right? They were thinking Agni as the only powerful entity, right? But they did not know Agni is Lord. Okay? So it's not just the Brahmanas who failed to recognize Lord Krishna. I just took this from whole of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay? In the Gokul pastime, did Putana recognize Lord Krishna?
No.
Sakatashura, Trinavarta, but the one highlighted in the green, fruit seller. Remember the fruit seller? She recognized, right? So, and Vrindavan, nobody recognized Lord Krishna. But Vatsasura, Bakasura, Agasura, even Lord Brahma did not recognize Lord Krishna. That's the Brahma Vimohana Leela, right? So many did not recognize Lord Krishna. Venukashura, Kaliya, Kalapasura, I put that in the sequence of how the past time took place from Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, how do you recognize him? Are you not like a special blessing or something? If you're a devotee, you will recognize and you'll see that's the whole idea of this past time, right? The whole intent of this past time. The Brahmanas right? Even the Brahmanas given they were Krishna's devotees. They were fully devoted to Lord Krishna. They were heard. So why they became devotees is they were hearing all the glories of Lord Krishna. That's why we are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. When you recognize him, Krishna, that is devotion. Through devotion, Krishna gives you that opportunity to recognize blessings. And you'll see, it's not just the demons who did not recognize, it's not the Brahmanas who did not recognize, and you'll be startled as you go through, right? So in Mathura, the washerman, remember those pastimes, everybody he did not recognize. Weaver, Sudama, the garland maker, Trivakra, Kubja recognized.
Yeah.
And no one else recognized, right? Including Jarasandha, Kalyavana did not recognize. Dwaraka, Narakasura, Banasura, Paundraka. Who's Paundraka? How many hands did he have? We covered that in Srimad Bhagavatam class. Paundraka. Oh, very good. He was like a joker, right? Krishna is coming with 4 arms and he's standing with these 4 arms as well. He got blessings from Lord Shiva. He's saying, "You are not Krishna, I am Krishna." Krishna is laughing at him. Right? And then later on, Chakra went and cut his head off. Right? So only Sudama Vipra recognition. So you see the number of devotees who are not number of demons in this case who did not recognize Krishna as Lord Krishna. Very busy slide. I'm going to talk to it. Okay. So this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to South India. Hare Krishna, everybody's following? Little bit more of your time. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to South India. There were a lot of these Buddhists. Again, don't have any biased opinion about Buddhists. There's a pastime that had actually happened because Krishna is also, Buddha is also a form of Krishna. He came for a different reason. So here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to South India. These Buddhists, they wanted to create some problem. They took some untouchable food, let's say meat, and they gave it to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. My dear Lord, this is Mahaprasad, please have it. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when it's Mahaprasad, he will have it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please have it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is looking at it. A huge bird came, took the whole plate, which has sharp edges, flew, and then flung it like that with his beak. It came and cut the Buddhist leader's neck, who had orchestrated the whole thing. He fell unconscious, blood was flowing everywhere. And then all the disciples came and pleaded with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my dear Lord, please forgive the sin that we have committed. And then he asked them to chant the holy names. Now, did those Buddhists recognize Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? No, right? So it's not just demons, it's not just Brahmanas. In this case, it's Buddhists, right? So that will answer your question gradually, okay? This is another pastime. Kala Krishnadas, right? When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to South India, he was the servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There were these Pattataris. Pattataris are from Kerala. Okay, they are they perform some black magic. They're supposed to be sannyasis, but they perform black magics as well. So they had women next to them. So they attracted this Kala Krishna Das into their group. So the women attracted the right Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's own servant. He's traveling with the Lord everywhere, but he was not fully devoted because Maya pulled him. So we have to be careful as well. At any time, we may fall trap to Maya. So these women were there attracting him, and they pulled him and went. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Why are you doing this to me? You are purposefully giving me pain, and I do not see any good logic in this." So what they did, they brought all the big swords and knives to attack Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mystically, all the swords and knives slipped from their hands, cut their own neck and leg, and many people died. Did Bhattataris recognize Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as God? No. Okay. I have one more example here. This is a very funny one. Okay. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. Vanabhadra Bhattacharya was the servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he went to Jharkhand forest. All the animals started chanting, etc. Everybody remembers that past time. So he was the servant. When they went to Vrindavan, everybody was running everywhere. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Why everybody so excited? Where are you all running?" "Oh, we are going to go to Yamuna." "Okay, for what?" "To see Lord Krishna there." Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, they said, "You're going to go see Lord Krishna." "Oh, Krishna has come here during Kali Yuga." "Yeah, Krishna is there. He is dancing beautifully on the hoods of Kalia, and the jewel in the hood of Kalia is so bright." So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's servant, in this case, Vanabhadra Bhattacharya said, "My dear Mahaprabhu, I want to go see Krishna as well." Right? He slapped him and he said, gently, nicely, he slapped him and he said, "This is Kali Yuga. Krishna does not appear in the physical form. He appears as his holy name. Kali Kala Nama Rupa Krishna Vata Nama Ite Avasava Jagat Krishna." And then another old person is coming, putting his head down from the Yamuna river. He's coming. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, "Okay, what happened? You see Lord Krishna?" He said, my dear Mahaprabhu, it was a mistake. It was a fisherman." Hear that? It was a fisherman who was on a boat, who is actually so this wonderful Krishna dancing on Kalia was actually a fisherman on a boat fishing, and he was fishing in the night. He was fishing in the night with a huge light. So everybody thought the light was the jewel on the head of Kalia, and the boat to be Kalia, and the fisherman to be Krishna. So the message is, forget about others who were eager to see Krishna. Did Balabhadra Bhattacharya, who was his own personal servant, so two of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's servants also did not completely were aware of who Lord Krishna was. Mahaprabhu and Krishna are the same. Okay? So again, these are various examples of how, if you're fully not devoted, you may not recognize Krishna, and the mercy of Lord Krishna will not be on them for them to recognize Lord Krishna. Did Duryodhana know who Lord Krishna is? No, right? So you can think of many more. Sorry. So he mostly played really big time, right? That's the only one. Even during the Virat Rupa, when Krishna showed Virat Rupa, which we read in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he gave, Arjuna was given that eyes, right, to see, right? Otherwise, you cannot see. So here, the mercy of Lord Krishna is there, but then the prerequisite for the mercy is the devotion. Exactly. Okay, so totally ignored by the Brahmanas, who did not even say no. They go to Lord Krishna, very disappointed, and say, "My dear Krishna, they did not even respond with a yes or no, they ignored us." So Krishna, after hearing this, what did he do? He could have become very angry, right? I am the Supreme Personality of God, and I told you to go and tell them that give food, and they did not give you, let me send the Sudarshan Chakra. Did he do that? No. He's always favorable to the Brahmanas. Namo Brahmanya Devaya, go Brahmane. So what did he do? To douse the situation, he just laughed. Krishna just laughed. That is a spectacular response, right? He just laughed, and then he said, and then he did not send the Sudarshan Chakra because he's very favorable to the Brahmanas. And what did he do? He said, "Now go to the wives of the Brahmana and tell them that we are here, they will certainly give all the food that you want. So what he's doing is he's giving a test to the Brahmanas, giving the test to the Brahmanas' wife. The Brahmanas already passed or failed, miserably failed the test, right? So now he's saying, go to the wives of Brahmana and ask the same thing. But you see how dedicated the cowherd was. They could have said, my Krishna, no, big embarrassment already. We went there, they did not even. You think his wife, their wives are going to be, they will listen to their husband. No, we can stay hungry. No, that's not what they. Okay, you tell us to go to the wives of Brahmana, we'll go to the wives of Brahmana. So Krishna says that intelligence, the wives of Brahmana's intelligence reside in me alone, right? So the cowherd boys went there, again they are offering obeisances, like how they did to the Brahmanas. Exactly, no ego, nothing. They offer all the obeisances, and they say Krishna and Balaram are nearby, and they need food. Now, does Krishna really need food? He's Atman, right? So his Atman means he's eternally self-satisfied. When we put some donation, is he expecting our donation in the donation box? $5, $20, $100. Lakshmi, all the Lakshmi Devis are with him, right? He does not need our $50, $100, right? And they go to Tirupati, you know Tirupati? Tirupati, they go, what do? They go shave their head. Does Krishna need our dirty hair? It's not for Krishna we do it for ourselves, because hair is one of the most beautiful part of anybody's personality, right? Women doesn't matter, especially women. So when you're offering the hair, it's not like you're offering for Krishna to make a wig or something, right? You're offering it that is very near and dear to you. My dear Krishna, pleasing you is more important because I don't even care about my personality. That's the intent, right? Yeah, which is not a good thing, right? But when you have a good hair, you're sacrificing it to the Lord. This is not as important as me pleasing. I'll go through the austerity, right? So here, the $50 or $100 of some fruits that we buy, is that ours? He gave us an opportunity to make that money. He gave us the opportunity to buy the fruit, and we are giving it back what belongs to him. Nothing belongs to us as people, right? So here they go and pray, they give all the respect to the Brahmana's wife, and they say, Krishna is hungry, please give. So the wives of Brahmana immediately took 4 kinds of food and they went rushing to see Lord Krishna. The important part is the Brahmana's wives have never seen Krishna yet. Okay? Never ever seen Krishna, but they have heard about Lord Krishna so much. And that's why we need to hear Srimad Bhagavatam again and again. When you read, you are hearing as well by yourself in your house. More you hear, more you will eventually get association. Okay? Hearing causes association. 4 kinds of food, and they went like rivers flow to the sea. Okay? So those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. That's the important. That answers your question, right? So constantly devoted to me, I will, by his mercy, he makes them understand and they will come to me. In this case, literally, if you want to put a Bhagavad Gita verse for this entire portion, this will be the verse for this portion, right? To those who are constantly devoted, the Brahmana's wife, serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they will come to me. Literally, they went to me. Okay? So, hearing causes absorption, absorption causes attraction, attraction causes attachment, attachment causes eventual association. Okay? We've covered this before. It's very important that we reiterate this. Okay? Hearing, when you hear more, okay? We know iPhone 14. If I keep telling you about the glories of iPhone 14, is it out there? iPhone 14? What's the latest? Let's say iPhone 14 is there. None of you have got it and I got this iPhone 14. I will say, this is spectacular. Oh my God, this is so good. And this, eventually you will keep on hearing this, and next few days you will buy that. Is that not right? I keep telling you about the beautiful city of country of Jamaica. Oh, this is a beautiful country, turquoise color water, the weather is 23 degrees, very cheap. Eventually your next destination will be Jamaica, right? So more you hear, hearing causes up, you're absorbed in that, you're attracted by that. you're attached to that, and eventually there is association. You get your iPhone, you get your Jamaica trip, and we have some examples, right? When I tell you about Emirates A380, oh, the double-decker airplane, it is so good. You know, you will get into that. So we know scriptural evidence is Narada Muni was always hearing about Lord from the traveling mendicants, and then he got the association of the Lord. Rukmini never ever seen Lord Krishna, always hearing from these great sages, traveling sages, and eventually she got Krishna. Same thing with Brahmanas wife that they're giving. Same thing with Prahlad Maharaj, right? Prahlad Maharaj is hearing about Lord Krishna. When did he hear more about Lord Krishna? Mother's womb. What is the mother's name? K A Y A D. Yeah. Kayadu, right? Kayadu. Kayadu's husband is. So he heard everything when he was in the womb of his mother. At that time itself, hearing, he wanted to see, and eventually he saw Lord Darshan. Sorry? Oh, sorry, my spelling mistake. Sorry, my mistake. So sometimes I do it late in the night. So I'm not copying and pasting it from somewhere. It's all type. Yeah, Rukmini. And then you have Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj heard a lot from his mother, of course, and then from Narada Muni as well, right? And then eventually, who did he see? Lord Vishnu, right? Lord Krishna. So 4 types of food. What are the 4 types of food they took? It's not stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. There's 4 types of food, but our acharyas say chewed. What can be chewed? What can be stuck? What can be licked? What can be swallowed? Right? Some examples are there. We also know that during the morning prayers, Chaturvida Sri Bhagavat Prasada, Chaturvida, 4 types of food. Right? So some of the examples, it does not exactly have to be that which they do. Suck means you can suck a mango fruit, right? Like that, right? Lick, swallow, and suck. Very, very tasty, aromatic food that they do. So they went like rivers flowing towards the sea. If this is an actual river in India, actually going into the sea, see how it goes. Is there any interest? Can anyone stop the river from flowing to the sea? That's how these housewives, Brahmanas wives, to meet Lord Krishna. Nothing can stop them. If there is a big boulder, you go on top of it, by the side of it, and it will reach the ocean. That's the example that is given. Just as rivers flow towards the sea. Okay? So Brahmanas wife decided to go and meet Lord Krishna personally because of their extensive hearing. They did not see Lord Krishna yet, ever. First time they're seeing. And they're so excited because they've heard so much. Again, we are pleading, please hear more from Srimad Bhagavatam. Then our chanting will be good. And eventually, based on what we saw, association, attraction, attachment, association will be there. Okay? So they went because they have heard about Lord Krishna so much. And they see Lord Krishna there in the garden near Yamuna. So they're seeing him near the Ashoka tree. What does Ashoka mean? Shoka means sadness. Ashoka means no sorrow or no sadness. Okay? That's a picture I just put. That's not an actual picture that was there. So that's an Ashoka tree. And it's got a lot of health benefits, right? By the way, prevents internal bleeding and treats diabetes and everything else. Yes. This is from now, from internet. This is actually an Ashoka tree. So unless there are more types of Ashoka trees, but just to get an idea of a tree, right? Beautiful tree with beautiful flowers, orange color flowers, right? So this is very important. Can you see the beauty of Lord Krishna? Spectacular, right? So can somebody read this? This is very important meditation. So can somebody probably be able to read the text? Yeah. When somebody is reading this, we can always meditate. That once you meditate, you get entirely purified. Right? So that's what is the meditation, right? So this is a beautiful description of how the Brahmana's wife actually saw Lord Krishna. They're seeing Lord Krishna. This is the actual description. So here, Brahmana's wives, they're taking all the food and then they sing Krishna with all his friends. Balaram is also there, cows are there. So another beautiful picture. So the Brahmanas ladies were finally able to give up their pain of separation because they were already so desperate to see Lord Krishna by letting Lord Krishna enter their hearts. Again, this is a beautiful, beautiful meditation. Will you be able to read the O ruler of men?
O ruler of men, for a long time took our lives, those Brahmanas and had their beloved and his glory, and his glories had become their constant order of their ears.
Yeah, 1 second, if you hold that. So just by hearing, we put all the earrings and everything to decorate the ears. So the glories of Lord Krishna, when they were hearing, that was the decorating part of it. So Krishna's glories were the ornaments of the ears. Everybody follows? Yeah, go ahead. You want to read the rest?
Indeed, their minds were always on throughout their afterlife on their eyes, they now fall into a
Yeah, so beautiful.
and
That's good. So basically what they are doing is, whatever they were hearing about Lord Krishna were the ornaments in their ears, and now through the apertures of their eyes, they let Krishna enter through their eyes into their heart, and they embraced him. He's a little boy, 7-year-old boy, right? They're embracing him so beautifully. You see, this is like the Tunde, Tandavani, Ratin Vitunte, Tundavali Labde, Karna Krodha Kadamini Gate, Karnarbude Despiyam, Sheta Prangana Sangini Vijete, Sarvendriyanam, No Dane, Janita, Kriyapir, Ramriti, Krishneti. You remember that beautiful verse? 1.9 and Antya 1.9. Again, Rupa Goswami. I do not know how much nectar these two syllables Krishna has produced. When the holy name of Krishna is chanted, we need millions of mouths. When it enters the earlobes, we need millions of ears. And then it enters into the courtyard of the heart, and then it makes all the senses inert. Right? So again, a pathway is given, right? So it goes from here to here into your heart, and then it dances in the heart. So similarly here, through the apertures of the eye, they absorb Krishna and then put him in their heart and embraced him. Beautiful, beautiful meditation, right? So here, his glories have become the constant ornaments of the Krishna's glories, right? Not the actual hearing. And then through the apertures of their eyes, they now force them to enter their hearts, and then they engage them within. Beautiful verse, right? So if you're just, hearing a half an hour class, then you may not get into all these beautiful details of this wonderful pastime, right? So this is exactly how Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining. So I'm going to read this. Their ears have become successful by hearing repeatedly about the excellent qualities of their beloved, and thus their minds became absorbed in Krishna. They brought Krishna to the doors of their eyes and made him lie upon the lotus flower bed of their hearts. This is much more beautiful, right? So into the flower bed of their hearts. Then by embracing Krishna for a long time, they gave up their desires. By that embrace, they fainted in the bliss of union with Krishna. In this way, they became relieved of the pain of separation from him. This resembles the sages who gain freedom from the pains of false ego by embracing their inner consciousness. So here, if someone attempts to see the sun in the night with the help of a lamp, will he be successful? In the night, you take very powerful lamp, flashlight. Can you find the sun? No. But in the sun, clearly, the daylight, because of the light of the sun, we'll be able to see. So similarly, one cannot recognize the Lord with his own limited knowledge. Okay? But if the Lord mercifully imparts the power of understanding, he can be known easily. So even though the Brahmana's wife had no education, they were sincere and serious devotees of Lord Krishna. He imparted the required knowledge on them. That's how they did. This was the answer to your question, right? Very clear, right? Okay, so Lord Krishna personally welcomed them and he spoke to them. He said, please sit down and make yourself comfortable, right? So that's how you receive a guest, right? Krishna, Supreme Personality of God, is saying. And then he's saying, he's giving them some wonderful, wonderful advice. And he's saying the knowledge of the soul is important. And then what did he say? My dear Brahmana's wife, please go back to your husbands because the sacrifice will not be complete if you are here, because they need to do few things for the sacrifice to be complete. So Krishna, even though he was not too happy with the Brahmanas, he wants their sacrifice to be successful. He's saying, go back. So that was a setback for this Brahmanas wife. We came all the way with so much of opposition in our family. They said, don't go. The yajna is being done halfway. Husbands, family members, everybody said, don't go. We forced ourselves and brought these 4 types of food. Now you're saying, go back. Same verse was repeated. First 2 lines were repeated to gopis. And what did the gopis do? They did not go. But here, because they were married, they went back. The Brahmana's wife followed Krishna's instructions and they went back. And the wives of the Brahmana said, oh, don't speak this because, etc. Right? They said, all we want is the tulasi that is falling down. We want to take that and keep it with us, which falls from your lotus feet. So we will stay here. So Krishna says, no. That's what I said. Then the same verse is partially repeated for the gopis, and gopis refused to go back and here they went back. Right? So they said, no, our fathers and sisters and sons and brothers, all of us will no longer take back because we fought with them and we came. So what can we do now? And Krishna says, no, don't worry. Your husband's relatives will not be inimical to you, nor will the devatas. Devatas also will approve of whatever you have done. After the sacrifice, do not worry. You go, if need be, I will speak to them. Because when they go, because of the association of the wives who are gurus of the Brahmanas now, as you will see. Okay? So Krishna advises them that type of association is not good, but you should fix the minds on me and very soon you will achieve me. So it's instruction for all of us, right? Just keep your mind on me. Don't worry about physical proximity. We know about Vapu and Vani. What is the difference between Vani and Vapu? Deepa Vani radio. Vani means hearing. Vapu means association. So association is not as important as hearing the instruction, right? So even even Srila Prabhupada saw his guru only few times, very few times, right? And Srila Prabhupada says, we are associating with Srila Prabhupada, even though we have not seen Srila Prabhupada, through his books, Vani, etc. So this is when the Lord becomes pleased with someone, everyone automatically becomes pleased. We talk about that, right? So when Krishna is pleased with the Brahmana's wife, that means all the Brahmanas will be eventually happy as well. Okay? You fix your mind on me and soon you will achieve me. Very, 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 very important verse. Who is going to read this verse? Prabhu, can you see that? No? Anyone who is not read? Yes, please. A little bit louder, or can all of us read this? It's very important. Is that okay? On a count of 3, slowly we will read the English together. 1, 2, 3. It is by hearing about me, seeing my deity form, meditating upon me, and chanting my names and glories that love for me develops, not by physical proximity. Therefore, please go back to your homes. Okay? The last part of the last line may not be applicable to us, but more importantly, it is by hearing about me, seeing my deity form, meditating upon me, chanting my names and glories. Chanting my names and glories means hearing the past tense or reading about the past tense. The love for me develops, not by physical proximity. Okay? That's what Srila Prabhupada has established. Chanting the holy names, temple, the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay? So the wives of the Brahmana followed Lord Krishna's instructions. You know, the cowherd boys followed Lord Krishna's instructions once or twice. Twice. And here the Brahmana's wives are strictly following Lord Krishna's instructions, and then they go back to their husbands to complete the sacrifice. Now, this is a small twist. Apparently, now we know retrospectively, one of the Brahmana's wives wanted to go with other wives to see Lord Krishna with food, but Absolutely, she was stopped in her house from going. She was crying and crying. I want to see Lord Krishna. I've heard so much. He's right here. Who's getting this opportunity? I want to go see Lord Krishna. They forced her to not go and see Lord Krishna. Now, all these other ladies, wives of other Brahmanas, who wonderfully saw Lord Krishna, served him with food, came back and they explained how beautiful Lord Krishna's form was. All the wonderful things about Lord Krishna, they explained more. This lady is wife of Brahmana has already heard about Lord Krishna, but now she's hearing more about this recent interaction with the other wives. And what did she do? She embraced him, Lord Krishna, within her heart and died. She gave up her life. Right? And then she went back home, back to Garden. Now, this is fascinating lesson for all of us, right? We may not be able to see Lord Krishna face to face. Some of you may, many of us may not, right? It does not matter because she went back to be with Lord Krishna even before the other ladies who saw Lord Krishna face to face. You see? She right away left her body and she went to spiritual world, whereas the other wives of the Brahmanas will eventually go after they leave their body. You see, she never met Lord Krishna, never had physical association, but the intensity, the tsunami of love and devotion that she had for Lord Krishna made her go to get the physical association with Lord Krishna right away. They missed the opportunity in the material world, but right away, instantaneous association in the spiritual world. Okay. So this is a very special person due to a burst of devotional tsunami for Lord Krishna, reached the spiritual world even before the other wives who actually served and met Lord Krishna. Everybody follows?
Yeah.
It's a small twist in the tail here. So it was suddenly included. This person could not go. We didn't read before, but later on it says this person could not go. And then it says, though engaged in all kinds of activities. So these Brahmana wives, routine daily activities like serving their husband, etc. My pure devotee under my protection reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace. Again, by my grace. That's from 18.56 and 8.5. Why did she go back to the spiritual world? Antakale cha mameva smaran. So this is a beautiful word. Smaran yat prayam bhava yati nashte samsara. And whosoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, and once attains my nature. Nature means Krishna's form and whatever it is, going back home, back to God. Of this, there is some doubt or no doubt? No doubt. Okay? So in the meantime, Lord Krishna first offered the cowherd boys the food received from the ladies and then he ate. Okay? Feed others first before you eat. So Yogan Prabhu has got a home program in his house. What does he do? He will serve others first and then he will eat. Right, Prabhu? That's the culture. And Krishna is showing this. How do we do that? Why do we do that? It's because we learn from these pastors, right? So you always serve others before you eat, right? So Lord Krishna through his pastimes pleased everybody. Now, next few slides, I'm going to fast forward here. The Brahmanas were completely devastated because the wives came and they explained, and you can see the symptoms of the wives that had manifested because of the proximity and association with Lord Krishna. So they came to their senses and they said, we have gravely sinned by not offering food to Lord Krishna. What a golden opportunity, right? Who gets this opportunity? They got this opportunity because of the pious need, but they let go of the opportunity. So this is very important. I'm not sure whether all of us know this, but there are two kinds of food remnants. One is called as avashishta and the other is uchishta. It's we may not use this very often. So how did the Brahmanas come to their senses all of a sudden? All of a sudden, they see their wives. Yeah, that is an association. That's a charged up association because the wives have now seen Lord Krishna and they took the remnants of the food. So what remnants of the food? Because Krishna took all the food, but then they brought the plates back, the big containers back. So avashishta left in the pots from which the Lord was served. The big pot, little bit was left. They took an ate and then that woke them up. So that's the Mahaprashad's power, which is direct from Lord's state or left as remainder in the plate. That they didn't have, but they had the avashishta and that brought them to their seat. Okay? The Brahmanas get it and they are saying our threefold birth is wasted, right? threefold birth means physical birth with their parents. Second is Brahmanical initiation. And third is initiation into performance of fire sacrifice. So for those of the devotees who perform fire sacrifice, you have to be initiated. There's a process for you to perform this fire sacrifice as well. The Vedic mantras need to be given to you for it to be potent. Otherwise, it will impact you. You're playing literally with fire, right? This is very, very difficult thing to understand. But they said, what is the use of all this initiation, pre-initiation? We did not recognize Lord. It's complete waste of time, right? And it talks about the illusory potency of the Lord. It can even bewilder great mystic, Lord Brahma. Which chapter is that? Lord Brahma's Brahma Vimohana Veda. 13. Let's put our hands together for Brahma. Now, this is very, very good, right? 10.30, 13th chapter, 14th chapter, because that was one of the last chapters. I think 13th or 14th is the last chapter that Srila Prabhupada wrote the commentary on. Right? So it stopped after that. It was disciples of Prabhu came here and see how much he remembers. Wonderful. Thank you so much. So there are also we made a mistake, etc. There are two types of intelligence in human. One is intelligence that brings an immediate solution to a problem before the problem can occur, and the other intelligence is after making a mistake. Everybody understand? Two types of intelligence. Intelligence before a problem. No, I don't want to touch fire because it will burn. Other thing is you touch the fire, next time, I'll not touch the fire. Right? So two types of intelligence. It comes from experience, but here, this is the second type of experience. After they went through the pain, they realized, we made the greatest mistake, right? So, and it goes on to talk about glories are chanted by the exalted hymns of the Veda. So, when you hear any Vedic hymn, it is for Krishna. Whether it's direct or indirect, it is for Krishna. That's what they're saying. So, the devotion of the ladies were fully blossomed just by hearing about Lord Krishna. Again, they're sounding like a broken record, but more you hear the pastimes, more you'll be attracted to Krishna, attached to Krishna, eventually associate Lord Krishna. The chanting also will be very good. Otherwise, the chanting will be dry. Correct. Any of the purificatory search, they know who you are. Because of hearing, they knew, and Krishna's mercy was there. They did not go to Gurukul, right? If you're getting Brahmanical initiation, we get the sacred thread, right? For those of you who are, you know what we are talking about. We get from second initiation, but when you are from some traditions, we get the sacred thread when I was 7 years old and my brother was 9 years old, right? So then, even when I got it many, many years ago, it's not like we go to forest and get trained by a guru there. That's what Sandipani did for Lord Krishna. That's the tradition. But the guru comes to our house and he teaches Sandhya Vandanam and the Vedic mantras at home, and it goes on for almost 1.5 years, right? But traditionally, they go to the in a forest, austere setting. But women don't do that. There is no sacred thread for women. It was stopped by Lord Brahma after one of the 4 parts of the sins were given to 4 people. You remember that Trasura pastime? 1/4 of the sin was given to women for their, they have that menstrual cycle and whatnot, right? So that was they're paying a price on behalf of Indra. The sap in the tree. You remember there are 4 types of sin. Cracks in the wall, ground, which get filled. So the sacred thread ceremony for women was stopped by Lord Brahma. Before it was there, you remember, Parvati had sacred thread. We read from one of the Abhastamba Graha Sutra that there was sacred thread ceremony even for women. But when you see a slight alternative is women who wear the sari, you put the, what do you call it, pallu, like this. That's like a sacred thread, you see. Everybody follows? That's like a closest that you can get. But Brahma apparently stopped it because they had sacrificed it for Indra's sins of killing the Brahmin. Right? So again, and I went, going away in the tangent, but just for us to understand the reasoning. So they've not gone to purificatory rites. They did not go to any ashram. They did not execute austerities like these Brahmanas, but they got everything so easily just by devotion. So it's easy to go to spiritual world, but it's more difficult to go to the heaven. Yeah. Right? More difficult to go to heaven because you have to do so much. Prabhu, can we have some herbal tea or anything? It's coming? Okay. Okay, so Prabhu, if you want to walk around, be careful with the. Okay. Okay, so opportunity came at the midst. Okay, so fasten your seatbelts, all of you. Okay, we're going a little faster. Okay, so the Brahmanas came to the senses. Right? So connection between Lord. So here, this is important. Hoping for the touch of his lotus feet, the goddess of fortune perpetually worships him alone, leaving aside all others and renouncing a pride and fickleness. That he begs is certainly astonishing to everyone. Now, hang on here. Krishna's wife or consort is Rukmini, Satyabhama, and others, right? Why is Lakshmi Devi coming to Krishna? See the connection here? Is non-different, right? Krishna, Vishnu, Narayana is non-different is what is stressed here. Okay, we need to understand that. So it's not different. So their starting thing is the richest, usually beggars beg, they don't have. Why would the richest of all richest person beg? Right? So that's what they're saying. Why did Krishna beg? And that's why they were confused. They're trying to give some excuse to themselves, right? Why they didn't give the food and why they were perplexed that it was Krishna. So again, I've highlighted the same thing, sacrificial fire and everything is Lord Krishna. So retrospectively, Brahmanas are able to make the connection between human form of Krishna and the sacrifice they were performing for so many years, and both were the same. Okay, the sacrifice they were performing is for Krishna. Now they realize retrospectively which they did, and they're offering his obeisances, and finally they're hoping he will forgive us. Hopefully he will forgive us, right? Unfortunately, this is the last verse here, right? Even after repenting and learning from their guru, the new gurus. Who are the new gurus of the Brahmanas? Who are the new gurus? Brahmanas' wives. And because of the association of Mahaprasad, they came to their senses, but they could not still go and see Lord Krishna. Why? Of fear of Kamsa. Can you believe that? So they did not even have confidence still in Lord Krishna that he will protect them. Whereas their wives did not care about the family members, did not care about Kamsa. They just went running with their 4 different plates, containers. Here, even after repenting, even after knowing that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, oh, I'm very scared if I go there, Kamsa will kill. Remember, Kamsa is not dead here. This is from the 23rd chapter. Kamsa gets killed later on, 41st or something like that, 41st, 42nd chapter. So Krishna is only 7 years old. So Kamsa is still alive. So the Brahmanas are afraid of Kamsa. So they miss the opportunity to see Lord Krishna. So opportunity comes only once. So never miss the opportunity. Okay? So they did not have faith in Lord Krishna to protect them, unfortunately. Okay? Now I know we started the pastime. I brought in many other pastimes as well. How the servants of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not recognize, another servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not recognize the pious priest story, but all connected. Now, straight line pastime for us to remember what we come. Is that okay? Very quickly going through. The pastime took place in Vrindavan when Krishna was 7 years old. This pastime starts with the cowherd boys feeling very hungry and they plead to Lord Balaram and Krishna, please do something, we are very, very hungry. Krishna requests the cowherd boys to approach Brahmanas for food who are performing the Angirasa sacrifice to go to heaven, And then as Krishna instructed, they go and approach with utmost humility and requested food. And they said, Krishna and Balaram are tending the cows and calves not far from here. Please give some food. They did not get a yes, they did not get a no, they were totally ignored. So they come back and they tell Krishna, we were totally ignored. Then Krishna sends them to the wives of the Brahmana and they requested the food in the same way they humbly requested their husbands. And the wives of Brahmana have only heard about Lord Krishna. They've never seen Lord Krishna. They come rushing with 4 containers, 4 different types of food. And that can be licked, sucked, chewed, and swallowed. Okay? The Brahmanas' wives saw Krishna and Balaram within a garden nearby, and they see the beautiful form of Lord Krishna. Before they were just hearing about Lord Krishna, now they are seeing him, they embraced him in their hearts. And Krishna spoke to them and said, go back and make sure that your husbands complete the sacrifice. And Krishna then requested the Brahmana's wife to think of him, meditate upon him, and by chanting, they will get this association. And they will not have any problem with their husbands and relatives. And eventually they go back and make sure that the sacrifice is complete. One of the ladies who were prevented from going and seeing Lord Krishna heard the beautiful association of the Brahmanas' wives with Lord Krishna, and because of that, she left her life. She went back home, back to garden. The good thing is, she did not have the physical association of Lord Krishna like the other Brahmanas' wife in the planet Earth, but she immediately had it in the Goloka of Vrindavan. She went there to Vaikuntha. And then the Brahmanas came to their senses, they felt great remorse, and they said they have sinned by denying the request of the Lord. In spite of them repenting, they did not get a second chance, or they had a second chance as well, but for the fear of their life because of Kamsa, they did not go. So an opportunity lost forever. They did not get. So at this moment, I'm going to stop here. Anything that you think are lessons learned from this pastime? Anybody? Yes. Hearing is very important for eventual association. It could be material thing, it could be spiritual thing, but we don't worry too much about material thing because that will be a natural progression. When we hear something good that we want, this car is so good, gas mileage, it gives so much, okay, eventually when you're about to buy a car, you'll buy that car, right? So more you hear good things that you want to hear, you will have the association. Anyone else? Be humble. Yeah, so the cowherd boys were very humble. First time they didn't succeed being humble, but second time they succeeded. So the result is not as important as the process, right? So effort is more important than result. In both cases, they got 10 out of 10 for the effort. Anyone else?
The importance of food. Since we can't get Krishna, right? That's the reason why
But how is it connected to this pastime? From this pastime, what are the lessons? So that the Guru will teach us that Krishna is not only in one form, he is in deity form, he is the sun, etc. Yes. Very good. And we cannot ignore or offend our gurus as well. Any guru. Very good. Anybody who is hungry is a good candidate to get food, right? Whether it's a bird or an animal or human being, right? So don't ask any questions, feed them. Wonderful. Anything else? Yes.
Don't eat before.
Don't eat before you serve others. Like how Prabhu always does. Serve others and then eat. Right? That's a lesson for everybody, right? Anything else?
The four ways of worshipping Krishna.
Say again.
The 4 ways of worshipping Krishna. Krishna talks about deity, sun,
Oh yeah,
water.
Six, actually.
Six. Sorry.
Yeah. Very good. Who's that? What's your name, Prabhu?
Murli.
Murli, thank you very much. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, there are many ways of worshipping different forms of Lord Krishna. Not only deity, water, fire, sun, physical form as well. All that is also different forms of Krishna as well. So let's not think that only Agni is one form of powerful entity. Other forms of Krishna is there, as instructed by Lord Krishna in the 11th canto, which is Uddhava Gita. Okay. Anything else? Anything else from the devotees who are online? Okay, I put a lot. I'm going to go through this very quickly, but this is very, very good. You'll remember this. Be prepared to fast it. Lord Krishna tested the ritualistic Brahmins and the wife separately. Brahmanas' wife came out hugely successful in Lord's test, and the Brahmanas failed miserably. We all agree, right? The book Srimad Bhagavatam and names of Krishna are not different from Lord Krishna. If we are not attentive when we are chanting or when we are reading, we are neglecting Lord Krishna as the Brahmanas neglected Lord Krishna. Is that not a good lesson to be learned? Don't think that this is the pastime, we don't care about this. No, when we are chanting, when we are reading, when we are inattentive, that means we are ignoring Krishna as the Brahmanas. Okay, it's very important for us. We should be careful not to neglect Krishna while performing any of the 9 forms of devotional service, right? So that's an extension of second bullet, right? Hearing, chanting, performing arati, etc. Do not be misled in thinking the Lord appears only in certain forms. Okay, we already talked, and the Murli Prabhu explained this very nicely. Please do not do the opposite mistake as the Brahmanas. What did the Brahmanas said? Thought only the Agni was the powerful entity. We should not think Agni is Lord Krishna, not Lord Krishna. Oh, they are doing fire sacrifice. No, no, I'm going to do this. You are ignoring that. So don't do the opposite mistake. Is that fair? Okay. So there are many places of worship, including fire. So when there is a fire sacrifice, give your respect. It is also Lord Krishna. It's a lesson for everybody. The Brahmanas are very proud of their Vedic knowledge, and we should not be proud of, oh, I memorized so many Bhagavad Gita verses. I know so many. No, don't be proud, because that will be our downfall, right? So what matters is not memorizing the verses or read that, but what matters is we internalizing that and changing our behavior. When we give a class or anything like that, it's not for you, it's for me. It's for me to change, right? So when you are reading, it's for you. So if we have to internalize and change our behavior. So cowherd boys, Prabhu, we already talked, they follow the instructions every time, twice. Okay, and the Brahmana's wife also followed Krishna's instruction. Do we have the same opportunity? Absolutely. Krishna has given instructions in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. So don't think these past tense are for someone else, these past tense are for us. We just need to connect it to us. So just like the instructions were given to the cowherd boys, which they followed, instructions were given to the Brahmanas' wives, which they followed. Instructions are given to us, 700 instructions are given to us in Bhagavad Gita. 14,094 instructions are given in Srimad Bhagavatam for us to follow. Okay, so it's not for someone else, it's for us. Approach everyone, Prabhu mentioned, with humility and with utmost respect, right? So proper effort is more important than the result. Strictly following the process without understanding the reason or person behind it is very highly an ineffective way to progress spiritually. Right? If there is no devotion while performing arati, chanting, etc., then it is a mere show. Right? That is exactly from this pastime, right? Following a ritual without devotion is a waste of time in spirituality. When I say waste of time, it's not totally waste, but the progress is very minimal. This is a nice little formula we talked about. Ritual plus devotion is spiritual. Within the spiritual word itself, there is ritual, right? STI, and then there is ritual. So ritual is within spiritual. Constant hearing ensures ultimate association. We already talked about, as you mentioned, and hearing results in seeing. Is that not right? Hearing results in eventual seeing. Only devotion can award liberation. One of the ladies got liberated even before the other ladies who had physical association, just by hearing. So importance of hearing. When one hear, we have the same opportunity because we can hear about Lord Krishna. The wives of Brahmanas had the opportunity to see Lord Krishna because they heard about Lord Krishna so much. Do we have an opportunity to see Lord Krishna? Yes, if we hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Oh, we're just being a middleman here, but all of you have given so much of your valuable time. Because of Prabhupada, we have this, right? So this is Krishna's beauty. Prabhu Krishna, he always does many things at once. The dependence of Brahmanas, the glories of devotional service, and the hunger of cowherd boys all were satisfied in one pastime. Everybody agrees? One pastime, everything. We learn so much, right? And so many things are there. The cowherd boys were knowledgeable in the do's and don'ts of fire sacrifice. Is that right? How? Sautramani sacrifice. They're saying, when can the food be offered? After the sacrifice of the animal, you can do that at the initiation. So they explained everything except for Sautramani. So even though they were less than 7 years old, and we didn't see them doing sacrifices, but they were so knowledgeable in this. Nothing is more expensive than a missed opportunity. The Brahmanas' costly mistake in not realizing that God has more than one form. Opportunities neglected can never be recovered. The Brahmanas never got a second chance to meet the Lord because of fear of Kamsa. Sometimes you just need to grab it, right? Don't think too much. Right? In the army, what do they say? The teachers shoot. Don't say, hey, which way, 45-degree angle, you get shot, right? Just do it, right? That's the slogan for Nike, right? Just do it, right? Opportunity, this I put it in a different way. Opportunities are never lost. Someone else will take the one that you missed. Who took the opportunity? The Brahmanas' wives, right? Because if they had given the Brahmanas' wives have gotten this opportunity to see Lord Krishna, right? They would have eaten and they would have gone, right? So opportunities never lost. Someone will take the one that you missed. Temporary destination is more difficult to achieve than the ultimate destination. Complicated process to achieve less, but easy way to achieve the ultimate destination. Then by you. It is more like a business transaction. So the Brahmanas wanted to go to heaven. So it's a business transaction. You go to pay and you give money. I want projector, I want TV, right? Business transaction. Devotion to God is more effective than the austerity, sacrifice, and knowledge to attract the attention of the masses. Agree? Can you read that, Prabhu, second bullet? Personal disappointments due to refusal shall not be the cause of anger to get stuck in the current state. Okay, these are very subtle points, right? So the cowherd boys were disappointed. They went and told Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna said, "Your first attempt failed. Now go to the wives." Right? So you should not stop with the failure. Next step: accept negative experience calmly. Krishna never got angry and let the Sudarshan Chakra go and kill the Brahmanas, right? So he just laughed. He doused the situation, right? He put the fire down because the boys were a little angry, right? So don't pour fuel over fire, right? Don't pour fuel over fire, but douse it, right? Both the women were their wives, the learned, and I put it in bracket deliberately. Learned Brahmanas now regarded them as their gurus. The Brahmanas are considered lucky because the wives were devotees of God. So, for those of you who are not, entire family is not Krishna consciousness, hopefully everybody is, but husband is Krishna consciousness, wife is not. Wife is Krishna consciousness, husband is not. But if one of you is Krishna consciousness, the other will automatically, right? So that's the message here. So we have to simply recognize Lord. We already talked about six forms of the Lord. The Lord appears in the form of aquatics, in the form of plants, and Jagannath is coming from which tree? Neem. Wood, right? In a way, wood. Banyan tree. Krishna has talked about the glories of banyan tree. Insect, Vajrakita. For those of you who have shaligrams at home, beautiful carving within the shaligram, right? The chakra is there. It's all by this diamond teeth of this insect that we cannot see, Vajrakita, and this form of Vishnu. So Krishna appears in many forms, even as an insect, right? So do not miss the opportunity. Not that when an insect is biting you, don't say, "I offer my obeisances to you," right? But just to make sure that we understand Krishna's form is unlimited, right? Okay, with that, we are ready to have the quiz. Prabhu, we are going to pass this along. Anything to add as we distribute this? It's the last part of it. Nobody's going to get embarrassed. We'll answer the question collectively. You'll take this home. This will be a good refresher for you about what we covered on a later day. Anything else to add from anybody based on what we covered?
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yes,
You mentioned about fire sacrifice to be done after initiation.
yes.
But being born into the so-called the ritual Brahmin family, and being having the the thread, the holy thread
Yes.
ceremony, I do performance for for my dad's death anniversary. It's a fire sacrifice, right? So how does that impact?
It does not impact, because from your point of view, you have been initiated into this. You have your sacred thread, and you have been maybe may or may not be exactly trained in the sacrifice that you're performing, but you were guided on how to perform this Shraddha ceremony, right?
Yes.
So there was a guru who trained you on performing the Shraddha ceremony, and you are doing it because it is needed. Why are you doing this? What is your name, Prabhu?
Murli.
Murli again. Okay. So you're doing the Shraddha ceremony because it is a requirement to do the Shraddha ceremony. How do we know that? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did Shraddha ceremony for his father in Gaya. When Prahlad Maharaj, when Hiranyakashipu was killed in the 7th canto, we read Narsimadev is instructing Prahlad Maharaj to do Shraddha ceremony for his father. Okay, so it is within our Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya to do the Shraddha ceremony, and you are doing because you have your sacred thread and you've been trained to do it. So it is absolutely proper for you to do what you're doing. Is that your question?
Okay.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we're going to go through this quiz. Don't answer this yet, but we're going to collectively answer this. Is that okay? Yes? First question. The pastime of the Brahmanas Wives Blessed is in the following chapter of the 10th canto. Louder, don't be scared. 23. And I put this every time because you will know where to go to refresh this on a later date. Okay? So the answer is A. Question number 2. The pastime of the Brahmanas Wives Blessed took place in Dwarka, Vrindavan, or Mathura. Everybody agrees here? Little quiet here. Vrindavan, very good.
Vrindavan.
Very good. Thank you for those who are on the call as well. How old was Lord Krishna when the Brahmanas wife blessed pastime took place?
0 to 11.
0 to 11. And I put the 3 buckets there because 0 to 11, you can make a note of it. 0 to 11 is all the pastime of Lord Krishna in Gokul and in Vrindavan. His appearance in Mathura, then his pastimes in Gokul, and then they took him to Vrindavan because there were too many demons in Gokul, right? But then more demons were there in Vrindavan as well. So 0 to 11 is Lord Krishna's pastime in Gokul and Vrindavan. 11 to 29 is his pastimes in
Dwarka.
Mathura, because
Mathura.
most of the 96 years of his pastime were in Dwarka. So A is in Dwarka, 29 to 125, which is 96 years. 11 to 29 years is in Mathura, and 0 to 11 years in Vrindavan. So this pastime took place when Krishna was less than 11 years old. Oh, what did I do? Sorry, I made a mistake. 0 to 11. Okay. So make a note. Don't worry about this. It's actually C. Sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning does something to me. Okay. Okay. Number 4. A group of Brahmanas were performing the dash sacrifice. Purusha Sukta, Ashwamedha, Angirasa, Surya sacrifice.
Angirasa.
Angirasa. Very good. Number 5. The group of Brahmanas were performing the Angirasa fire sacrifice to attain devotional service, to go to Vrindavan, to go to heaven.
Go to heaven.
To go to heaven. Very good. Okay, number 6. I only 10 questions. Okay? When the cowherd boys told Krishna and Balaram that they were harassed by hunger, Lord Krishna magically manifested unlimited food. B. Made their hunger go away like he did for Durvasa Muni and his disciples. C. Sent the boys to the Brahmanas' family to ask food.
C.
I put deliberately family because went to a steps first and then to the wife. 7. The Brahmanas taught Lord Krishna to be a demigod, to be the supreme absolute truth, to be a simple cowherd boy, B. To be an ordinary, hungry human.
C.
I know it's a little confusing, C or D. Actually, it is D. Okay?
Oh.
Again, this is not from the pastime itself, but our interpolation, right? Because it clearly says, yeah, they were normal human beings. It doesn't mean that they were not cowherd boys, but they really did not give any respect. Number 8, when Krishna learned that the cowherd boys did not get any food, he simply laughed, he cursed the Brahmanas, he sent the Sudarshan Chakra, he felt humiliated.
He simply laughed.
Number A.
Very good. Number 9, penultimate question. The wives of Brahmanas were excited to serve Krishna because A. They had seen his beauty before. B. They were afraid that if they didn't give food, they would be punished. C. They had been enchanted by descriptions of him. D. They go to heaven before their husbands can go.
C.
C. They had been enchanted by descriptions of him. They've never seen him, but they've heard so much about Lord Krishna. Last question for today. Lord Krishna instructed the wives of the Brahmanas to go back home because they could associate with them. A. By hearing about him. B. By seeing his daily form. C. By meditating upon him. D. By chanting his holy name. E. All of them. Everybody agrees all of them? Wonderful. That's the right answer. All of them. Okay. I have a couple of slides here. This is an example of Srila Prabhupada performing fire sacrifice. Now that we've covered this, and the main issue was fire sacrifice that the Brahmins were not devoted, here is the fire sacrifice that is done with full devotion. Okay, I don't know how many of you have seen Srila Prabhupada do fire sacrifice. Here's one picture. This is another picture, Srila Prabhupada performing fire sacrifice with utmost devotion. himself is holding the key, as you can see. This is another one where he's offering fire. See, you see the fire? So he's offering fire sacrifice. And there he is offering, he's not offering the faith yet. You can see the deceptive photo, but he's offering the fire, right? So he's offering fire.
You see, can you put that next to
No. So these are very bad pictures that are from BBC and other sources. So,
the one? So that you are
so this is another picture where he's offering tea and ingredients directly into the fire as well. And you can see here, this is in a home, he's doing the fire sacrifice. And then the right hand side is pouring the entire content of the, I think the container of ghee. And he's sitting here and the fire sacrifice is going on here as well. So His Divine Grace is Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So any questions, any thoughts, anything to share? One last minute. I know we go a little deeper. I know it's little austerity for all of you. It's like a classroom setting with table and chair and pen and paper. But this is the only way where we can get the maximum out of these pastimes, right? Shallow from our homes, there's no way we can go deep as this. We will have phone calls, we will have something everywhere we'll go. Now we even closed the door, none of you could go anywhere. So, right? So we were able to go deep into this, and hopefully this will be beneficial to you. So it'll just cleanse us internally. So we'll put all the effort to make a presentation like this. We kindly request you to just join these sessions. There'll be prasadam and everything that will be given. It's all free. What do we lose, right? So we thank you sincerely for your time. For those of you who have joined us, over 10 devotees joined us online. We're very grateful to all of you for giving us your time. And for all of you who have joined, especially to our devotee who's 90 plus, who wanted to come for the last few weeks, in spite of his health that is not very good at all. We are so thankful. One Hare Krishna Mahamantra for Prabhu's health. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We also have another wonderful devotee right at the back. Mother Yasomati is there. One Hare Krishna Mahamantra very loudly for her health as well. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. How can we Rupa Manohar Prabhu, how can we forget him, and for his health as well? And absolutely your potency, especially after diving deep into pastimes like this, so much of energy will be channeled from all of you to these devotees. So one more Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and I know all of you will not mind chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantras. So one more Hare Krishna Mahamantra for Rupa Manohar Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.